In this video, we are going to do statistics board questions, specifically based on finding mean or related to mean. The first question that I have taken is finding mean when when the class interval is not given, or I can say when the class is given of the type less than type. The second one is when the mean is given, but two of the frequencies are missing. The third, where one of the class mark is missing. And the fourth one, when the data is class interval is not continuous. And the fifth, a kind of word problems, which has been tested in the year 2015. So let's begin with the first question. First question that I have taken here is to find the mean of the following data. As you can see that the data here given in the less than cumulative frequency, less than type cumulative frequency. And you know that in such a case, first we must convert them into the class interval. Now what I am doing, I have made a table here and there. That is what I'm going to fill. The first one is 0 to 20. Next it is 20 to 40. It is 40 to 60, 60 to 80, and it is 80 to 100. Once we are done, then we are going to find the frequency. Make sure you understand this is the cumulative frequency, not the frequency. And for finding the mean, we need frequency and not cumulative frequency. This is cumulative frequency. Now, as you can see from here that less than 20, there are 15. So between to 20 to 0 to 20 has to be 15. Because now less than 40, if you see less than 40, there are 37, and less than 20 there are 15 people. Then what we can see that the people which belong from 20 to 40 has to be the difference of these two. So we'll say this is 37. Nice. 37 minus 15, that comes out to be 22. Likewise, we can continue doing in the same manner. We have 74 people which are less than 70, right? I mean, less than 70 are 74, and less than 40, there are 37. So the people who are between, or the whatever the article, who are between 40 to 60 will be the difference of these two. And difference of these two is coming as 37. 74 minus 37 is 37. So likewise, we keep on doing this way. By finding its consecutive terms difference, we'll get the difference of these two, finally these two. So let's say if I get the difference of 99 and 74, it is how much? It is 25. 25, and the next difference is going to be 21. So once we have obtained frequency, now we need xi. Xi is what? The midpoint or the class mark. And class mark is what? It is the upper limit plus the lower limit divided by 2. So 20 plus 0 divided by 2 is 10. Likewise, 20 plus 40 divided by 2 is 30. So you got the class mark, that is the midpoint. So it's going to be, how much I said it was, yeah, it is 15. Right, next is 15. Then it's going to be the midpoint, right? 15, no, it's 30. 10, 0 to 20. So it's going to be 10, then has to be 30, 40 and 60. The midpoint is 50. Next is 70. Then it's going to be 90. Now, once we have obtained this, we are going to find ui. And what is ui? Ui is xi minus a over h. And what is a here? A is the assumed mean. Well, assumed mean we obtain from the middlemost value, right? From the xi, that is the class mark. So a here is 50. So let me write this a, which I said a is what I said is a is the assumed mean, and it is equal to 50. So I replace a with 50 here. And what is h? H is the class size, and class size is, as I can see, it is 20. Class size is 20. So we are going to obtain ui, and how we are going to obtain ui? Ui is xi minus a over h. So that is 10 minus 50 divided by 20, right? That will give you. So 10 minus 50 is what? 40, minus 40 divided by 20. I should show you what I am saying here. Ui is xi minus a over h. So xi is what? 10. So 10 minus 50 over 20. So it's going to be minus 40 over 20. So we'll get minus 2. So I'll be writing minus 2 here. So it's going to be minus 2. Then it should be minus 1, then 0, 1, and 2. Now, once we have got this, the next thing that we are going to do is to obtain FIUI. Well, from the name only, from the symbol only, you can figure out it is FI. FI is this column multiplied by UI, and UI is this column. So I'm going to get the product of these two. Let's check out what we are getting. So it's 15 into minus 2 is going to be minus 30. Where it is minus 30 is, I should write here. Okay, so this is minus 30. The next is going to be minus 22. Then it's 0. 25 into 1 is 25, and 21 into 2 is 42. The next, once we have get this, now let's figure out what is the formula for mean. As we have already discussed, we are using the assumed mean method. A, we know sigma fi ui will be the sum of these. Sum of these is sigma fi ui. And then we have to get sigma fi, and sigma fi is what? The sum of these frequencies. So let's guess the summation here. Now, if I add these numbers, here, what we are getting to get is, this is coming as 15. So I'll be writing this is equal to, let's make it big so that we can accommodate. Let's write it over here. It's coming as 15 here, right? Sigma fi ui is coming as 15, and this value of sigma fi, this is sigma fi, the sum of all frequencies here. All right. This is equal to 120. So we got this out. Now, after that, we are simply going to plug in the value to find out the mean. Let's say we are doing it here. X bar is what we have to get. A, which is the assumed mean. I use small a, that's okay. So this is 50. As we know, assumed mean is 50 here. So we'll be replacing A with 50 plus sigma FIUI. This sigma FIUI we have got as 15. So I'm going to replace this with 15 here. This is 15, that divided by sigma fi, and sigma fi we obtain as 120. That multiplied by the class size, and class size is 20 here. So this is equal multiplied by 20. For the further working, what we can see here, that these get cancelled, right? 0, 0 get cancelled, 2 1 times, and 2 6 times, 3 2 times, and 3 5 times. So we get x bar, that is the mean, which is 50 plus 5 over 2, and 5 over 2 is what? 5 over 2 is 2.5. So we'll say that the mean here is 52.5. So this is the first question. Let's do the next question now. In the next question, it says that if the mean of the frequency distribution table, that means we know the mean, that is x bar, but the frequencies, as you can see, f1 and f2 are of the class 20 to 40 and 60 to 80 are missing. And what we have to find out is these missing values. Now, the first relation that we can get between f1 and f2 is what? As you can see that the sum of these number is given as 100, right? So what I can say that number one equation, I can say that it is 15 plus 21 plus 17 plus f1 plus f2. This is F2. Should give you how much? 100. Now adding these values, if I add these values, what we are getting? 53. So I can say that F1 plus F2 is equal to 100 minus 53. So that is F1 plus F2 we got as how much? 100 minus 53 is 47. So we got one relation between F1 and F2. As you can see, uh, it's a question of two variables. Therefore, we need minimum of two equation with respect to X and Y. Now, once we have got one relation, what I'm going to do is to use this mean. We are going to use this mean, which is 53 here, to find out the second relation. So for that, first thing that I'll do is to write the class interval, then frequency xi, that is class mark, fi xi, get sigma fi xi, which is 100, and sigma fi xi is use this formula to get the second relation. Now let's begin with writing the class interval. Well, the class interval here is how much? This is 0 to 20. The class mark, which is the midpoint. So what is the midpoint of 0 to 20? It is 10, right? Similarly, the midpoint is 30 and so on. So we'll get the midpoint here. And if I find the midpoint, it is 10, 30, 50, 70, and 90. The next is to get FI/XI. The symbol is already telling us that is this is FI and this is XI. So we are going to get the product of this. So it's 100 into, sorry, 10 into 15 is 150. Then we have 30 Fi or F1. Next is, it is 1050. Then 70 into F2 is 70 F2. And then lastly, it is 17 into 90, right, is 1530. Now then we have to get the summation of this. That means we have to add these numbers, keeping in mind that we will not be including, that's very important thing, that will not be including these first while finding the sum. So what I'm getting the sum of this plus this plus this. So on adding, I'm getting 2730. So on adding, I'm getting 2730 plus 30 times Fi, that is 30. You can write this below. 30 F1, not Fi, and plus 70. This is 70 F2. So I think this is clear to you. If it is not clear, I'll write it a bit properly. We increase the size to accommodate fit it. All right. So this is, I should write F2 later, 70 F2. Right. I think it's clear to you. That is what I have written. Now I'm going to use this mean formula in order to get the second relation. So what is the mean? As you can see from the question, that mean is given 53 here, right? So the mean is 53. So I'm going to replace this x bar with 53. So I'll be writing 53 here. That is equal to sigma Fi/Xi, which is this. And how much it is? It is 30 plus, sorry, 2730 plus 30 times F1 plus 70 times F2, and that divided by sigma Fi. Well, sigma Fi is what? This is N only, that is summation. This is 100. This is 100. In the later part, what I can do, I can transpose this 100 to the other side. So on simplification, what we are getting, you see, on transposing this to the left hand side, it should become 5300. And these numbers, if you subtract on the left hand side, it is 2730. And I can take 10 common, right, in order to reduce. This is F1 plus this is 10 common. Taking 10 common, it is going to be 3 times F1 plus 7 times F2. Now, for further simplification, we are going to subtract these numbers here. So it's 5300, right? So we'll get this as how much after subtracting? It's 2 5s. It's getting 2570. And that is equal to 10 times 3F1 plus 7F2. You can cancel these zeros. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to simplify these two equations. One equation is this, and the other I'm writing below it. So it's 3 times F1 plus 7 times F2 is equal to 2570. Now, here I'm going to use the elimination method. So for that, I'm going to multiply the second equation, right? I'm going to multiply this equation, that is the second one, with 3. This way, what I'll get? This is where we'll get 3 times F1 plus 3 times F2, and we'll multiply 47 with 3. That gives us 141. And there is no 0 over here, right? 0 is cancelled. Now, as I said, I'm going to eliminate this. So I'll subtract. On subtracting, what we are getting, that this get cancelled. 7 minus 3 is 4. So 4 times F2. And this is on subtracting 257. So it's coming 116. If I'm not wrong, it should come as 116. And this divided by 4 is coming as 29. That's right. So we got F2 is equal to 29. Now check. We got the value of F2, one of these missing value. In order to get F1, we are going to plug in the value of F2 in any of this equation. Well, I'll go for this one. What we know here, that F1 plus F2 is equal to 47, replacing F2 with 29. So this is F1 plus 29 is equal to 47. So F1 will be 47 minus 29. So it should come as 18. So this is coming as 18. Now I can say from here that F1 is coming as 18 and F2 is coming as 29. So this is how we will do this question. Now let's continue with the other questions, other board questions. In the next question, it says the mean of the following data is 18.75 and we have to find the value of P. This P is missing here, which is Xi. Now you can see, unlike other questions here, we are given the class mark, right? So we know Xi. So first we'll be writing Xi. The frequency is also given. Now I'll be finding Fi(xi). And when we apply this formula of mean, we will get the value of P here. As you can see, the mean is also given. So let's begin with filling the table, as I've already made the table here. So the first is 10, then it's 5, then it's capital P. Next is 25, 30. Now if I write down the frequency here, this is 5, 10, 7, 8, and 2. Then we have to find Fi(xi). Clearly, we know that we have to find the product of this and this to fill this Fi(xi) column. So Fi(xi) is what? 5 into 10, that is 50. Next is 5 into 10 again, or 10 into 5. It's 50 again. We have 7 into P, that is 7P, and 25 into 8. 8, right? Should be 25 into 4 is 100, so it's 200. And then this is 60. Now, in the next thing that we are going to do is to add these numbers. Well, adding, you should be careful that we will not include this 7p, right? We will write it in an isolated way. So what I can see, this is 50 plus 50, 100, 100 plus 200 is 300, and 300 plus 60 is 360. All right. This is 360. I'll be writing here. This is 360 plus what? Plus 7p. 7p. Now, what is sigma fi is what we have to calculate. Now, sigma fi, I have to check. It is 5. I'll be adding this column, right? What we are getting is, I'll do like this. 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 10 is 20. 25. 25 plus 7. Is it 32? It should be 32 only. So this is 32. This is 32 I've written here. Now we will be replacing these values. What is x bar? X bar is the mean, and the mean of the data is given as 18.75 is equal to sigma fi, as we are using direct method. So sigma fi is how much? 360. 360 plus 7p, and that divided by sigma fi, and sigma fi is 32. Next, we'll do cross multiplication, as we cannot reduce it on the other side. So we'll be multiplying this 32 on the other side. On transposing, it will be multiplied. That comes out to be 360 plus 7p, capital P. So now it is 18.75 has to be multiplied with 32. So I'm getting 600. And if I transpose this to the left-hand side, it is how much? 360 is equal to 7p. This implies that the difference is how much? This is, if I subtract 360 from here, right, we are going to get 240. So 240 divided by 7 will be the value of p. Well, if I divide it by 7, what we are getting is 34.28. P is equal to 34.28. The next question here is, you can see there is a frequency distribution table given here. And the information of the table is that it gives the information about the agricultural holdings, right, in hectares. That is the land here. And we have to find out the mean land. By that means to say that mean holding of each farmer, that is the average. Now, what is different from this other table is that here the data is not continuous. As you can see, the first one is from 3 to 1 to 3, and then next will be 3 to 6, or whatever, 3. So you can see that it is the upper limit of the preceding class is not the same as the lower limit of the succeeding class. Same for the next part, you can see 9 and 10. When you have a data like this, we have to first convert this class interval into continuous form of class interval. And then for that, what you have to do, it's a difference of 1, you can see. So you'll be subtracting 0.1 from the lower limit and adding 0. 0. Half, right? 0.5, sorry. So you'll be subtracting 0.5 from the lower limit and adding 0.5 to the upper limit. This way we do it. One more time, I should explain you. From the lower limit, we'll be subtracting 0.5, and to the upper limit, we'll be adding 0.5. Let's figure out. If I subtract 0.5 from here and add 0.5 to this, what we are going to get is, it should be 1 minus 0.5 is what? 0.5, 0.5, 2. And adding 0.5 to 3.5, it should give you 3.5. Now, next same thing, that is 3.5. Why? Because 4 minus 0.5 is 3.5. 2. Adding 1.5 to 6 is 6. Adding 0.5 to 6 is 3.5. Keep doing like this. Next, we are going to add, subtracts 0.5. So you can get an idea that it is actually, should start with 6.5 only and just adding 0.5. So it's 9.5. Likewise, it should start with 9.5 and should be 0.5 more than 12. So it's 12.5. I'm doing it right. And the last one is 12.5 to adding 0.5. So it's 15.5. Okay, next is the class mark. Now, what you know that a class mark is the midpoint. So ignore this one, right? We are not going to take this class interval. Now, this is our class interval. And how do we find the class mark? Class mark is the lower limit plus the upper limit divided by 2. So it is how much? 0.5 plus 3.5 is what? 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So it's going to be 2 here. Similarly, if you add these two, 6 plus 3, 9 plus 1, 10. 10 divided by 2 is what? 5. So it will be 5 here. So we keep on doing like this. Let me write down this table properly. So we have find out it was 2, then it was 5. Next is 6.5 plus 9.5, that is 16, 7, 17, 16. 16 divided by 2, that is 8. 9 plus 12, 20, yeah, 22 divided by 2 is 11. Similarly, 12.5 plus 1.5, 15.5. So that gives you 28, 28 divided by 2, 14. Now frequency is what? Frequency will remain same, will be unaltered here. The frequency will not change. I'll be writing this. Comes out to be 25 given here. Then 22, then 52, then 45, and finally it is 16. Next is to get FIXI. Well, needless to say, it is FIXI means FIXI means what? FI into XI. So we'll be getting the product of these two columns. It is what? 2 into 25, that's 50. Next is 110. 8 into 52 is 416. 45 into 90. So it's 450 plus 45, that is 495. And 14 into 14, that is 196 plus 2 to 4, 2 to 4. Now, next we have to get this summation, and the summation is summation of the frequency. That means we will be adding these. Sometimes it is given on the table, so must look for it. But as of now, it's not given. So we'll be calculating this. So it's 25 plus 22 plus 52 plus 45 plus 16 is what we have to add. I need to get it. 160. And on adding these values, we're getting 1295. Right. The next is to apply the formula. And we have to get mean, and the mean is X bar. We'll be finding sigma X, FI divided by sigma Fi. So let's check. What is sigma FI? So X bar is what we have to get. Sigma Fi is 1295, that divided by 160. So I can reduce it first. It's divisible by 5. So if I divide 1295 divided by 5, so it's going to be 2 times, 5 times, and 9 times. Now this is clearly 32. Now this we have to divide with 32. So we're getting 8.09. So it's 8.09. Must not forget to write down the unit here. This is hectare. Hectare is what? Actually, this is approximate. So this is also important to write down. First, I'll write down. This is hectares. And then approximate is what? APP abbreviation is APP dot. So we'll say that, and this is our final answer. The next question is from the mean. This was asked in 2015 as in board. The question says the average score of boys in the examination is 71 and that of the girls is 73. Girls are always ahead in scoring. Okay. The average score of the school in the examination is, this is the total score. right? Total score means the average of the boys and girls. That's, you know, that average always lies between the maximum and the minimum. It has to be between these two. We have to find the ratio of the boys to the ratio of the, as numbers, right? Ratio of the numbers of boys and number of girls. As you can see, I have already written some statement here. I took the number of boys to be N1 and the number of girls to N2. Now we can figure out what we have to find is the ratio, that is N1 is to N2 is what we have to calculate. Now this question is based on this formula, that mean or average is the same thing, is the sum of observation divided by total number of observation. Now average score of boy is given to us, so which is 71. So I'm going to replace this with 71, and the average score of girl, which is also mentioned, which is 73 here. So I'll be writing 73. Now let's figure out that what is mean is equal to sum divided by the number of observation. That means, let's say if I take x bar as mean and say this is sum, and say n be the number of student, by cross multiplication we say that sum is what? X bar multiplied by n, or say n multiplied by x bar, right? This is what we are going to get. So sum is what? The number multiplied by the mean. So in this case, we are going to get at 71 times n1. And same way, the sum of marks obtained by girls would be 73 times n2. So now we can see the combined mean here. Combined is sum of all observation, that is this plus this divided by the number. So it's going to be 71 n1 plus 73 n2 divided by total number of students, that is n1 plus n2. Now check, we know the value of the combined mean, which is given as 71.8. So we are going to replace this with 71.8 is equal to sum of all observations is this. So I can say that we have already placed the formula, just we have to replace this. So this is 71 n1 plus 73 n2 over n1 plus n2. Now we are going to do cross multiplication. So that is what? 71.8 times n1 plus 71.8 times n2 is equal to 71 n1 plus 73 n2. So next, what I'm going to do is to keep like terms, like I'm going to keep these two on the left hand side, this and this. So if I subtract, right, should I do directly, or let me show it? 71.8 and minus 71 n1. On the other side, it is 73 n2 minus 71.8 n2. So now what if I get the difference here? What I'm going to get on the left hand side? The difference is 0.8 n1. On the other side, 1.2. Yeah, 1.2 n2. Check, we had to get n1, n2 and not their exact value. So let n1 be this side, n2 will bring from the other side. This is 1.2, and if you transpose 0.8 to the other side, all right, yeah. So it's what, 12 over 4, right? If you remove this decimal, it's 12 over 4. On reducing is what, 3 over 2. So the required ratio is 3:2. That's how we get this answer here.